Nielsen Ratings is a show just for you. We talk film, TV, both old and new. We discover new things, our taste get broader. So here's the show's host in no particular order. Rachel's a rap, she's making a stand. It's like world domination is her ultimate plan. And he's a little rough, he's a little caustic. Call him what you will as long as it's not toxic. Stupendous gonna judge you on your sense of cool by asking you what's your favorite Mexican food. Northern Bustard and Spider Elma say hello. It seems like everybody wants to be on this YouTube show. Run by Lance who drinks cappuccino. Everybody thinks he looks like Quentin Tarantino. So come on in and join the Nielsen Ratings. It's a show that you've all been anticipating.
Northern Bastard, welcome to the show and congratulations on 1,000 subscribers.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. It's took a good couple of years where everyone else has taken maybe longer than that. But thanks to Drinker and you and everyone else, it managed to get me up there very quickly, I should say.
Just gonna say, I think he gave you a push, right, on a couple of
he had me on 3 times, which has been more than helpful.
Yeah. It is always very helpful. Certainly gave me a push and got me to 5K, and I think a previous occasion maybe got me to 3 or something like that. So
yeah, I need to pester him more to get an open bar so I can reach your level. So
well, dude, I've only been on 3 times myself. I mean, when I get the Dark Hour golden ticket and I've hit 50 times, I'll let you know.
And I wouldn't even want to do it. I don't even want to ask him to go on again. But we'll move on with the show now.
Well, congratulations. I'm sorry I wasn't on your celebration stream. I did try to get on it twice, and both times it said it was full. And I had to get an early night because I was up at the crack of dawn. My partner was only in the UK for 2 more days, and she left these shores today. In fact, she boarded her flight a couple of hours ago.
I hope she comes back.
Yeah, well, let's not get into all of that on this stream. We're here to talk about films and movies and that kind of stuff. But she did appear on my YouTube channel. She came on the YouTube channel live yesterday because we did 7 day raves together. And I said, I'm going to do a stream about our day rave adventures. And she said, well, why don't we do it now while I'm here? So, so that's basically, so we did that yesterday. And yesterday evening, I decided I'm going to spend that evening with her, and she lives nowhere near me, so I was not able to come back and do the Nielsen ratings, hence why this got pushed to Tuesday. So appreciate people coming on. Sorry if it clashes other things, but anyway, and next year I may have to change the day anyway. So but for this week we're on Wednesday. We've got a ton of stuff to get through. And not a lot of time because I actually want to stay up late tonight because I want to watch the rest of the episodes of The Hack. So I think I'm going to be staying up at least until 2 to facilitate that. And of course, we need to talk about what a fantastic show Alien Earth was. So let's bring in the rest of our panelists. We have rachelpearcyart, Critic Al, Stupenzo, Mexican food in the house. Great to have you all here. I was hoping to have... Oh, he is here. And the Inside Man. Welcome back, sir.
Evening all. Evening all.
Great to have you back in the Wendy house.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Look at that. That's a very neat screen. I like that.
That's lovely, that. Yeah.
It's very symmetrical. Excellent. Yeah. So we got a few things to get through today. I'm going to cover a couple of things real quick at the beginning. This was a bit of a homework assignment, but I know a lot of people haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'm not sure what I make of it. I do like the acting. Not sure I like the style. But I just started watching The Hack. It's ITV one. This is about the biggest scandal in kind of newspaper reporting. It's based on a true story. For those people that don't know, one of our tabloid newspapers doesn't exist anymore. It was called The News of the World. They were not the only paper that were doing this, had found a way to basically hack people's voicemails. on phones, and they had singled out various high profile individuals, including the parents of Millie Dowler, including Millie Dowler's phone, and various other people, royals, celebrities, Steve Coogan, a whole load of people, and they were basically going in and listening to their voicemails, which was completely illegal, and doing all this on the quiet, and they were literally doing it for two almost thousands of people, and then it all became this big scandal that broke open. And that actually brought the newspaper crashing down. Now, this is the dramatization of how and why that happened. It's got two of our big guns, Toby Jones and David Tennant, in the lead. I do love David Tennant as an actor. I don't really care what people's politics are. All I like to know is, can they act? And I do like him. But as a show, it does have this very strange, quite surreal technique where he's narrating the show, but then he goes, oh, no, for legal reasons, I can't say that. And then suddenly the visual thing that you're seeing will change because he has to adjust the narrative, which is kind of nice because that's what journalists do all the time. That is journalism. And the narrative is always shaped to us by people who control the media, journalists and so on. So it's an interesting approach to the story. Not sure I like it, though, but I think they had to do it that way for legal reasons. So I'm only coming up to the end of the first episode. I haven't seen enough of it yet to do a rating. Like the acting, not sure about the script style. That's kind of where I'm at the minute. So I'm not going to rate it tonight. Has anybody else seen any of it yet?
Yes, I have watched one episode.
Okay, so Al's seen it. Sorry, was that Inside Man? Have you seen one as well?
No, I've not seen it yet, but it's kind of right up my alley, to be honest with you. I mean, this is on my radar, so I know of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna probably watch another 2 or 3 tonight. So I think we will discuss it again next week.
Yeah.
So it'll be on the card. So I mean, Al, you've only seen one episode, so I don't want to take too much time on this because we've got.
No, of course not. I mean, I share your thoughts, Lance. To be honest, I think the acting's great. David Tennant is, he's doing a really good job of not being David Tennant.
Yeah, he is.
Really
He's got a really good voice. He's imitated the guy he's playing quite well if you watch the real guy.
Yeah. But the style is completely off-putting. The constant fourth wall breaks, the bit where the posters are changing in the background, all that kind of stuff, just totally took me out of it.
I quite like that gag at the beginning where he said it's England and it's bad weather.
The weather thing, yeah, that was quite funny, but it kept going like that. Well, kept opening the door, and every time you opened the door, it was the wrong person, and they did it again. They did it like 6 times.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I mean, we'll see.
I was just like, if it had been a straight up, not documentary, but a straight up drama, I think I might have quite enjoyed it. But I don't think I'm going to carry on watching it. Whereas the other show you asked me to watch, I'm getting quite into, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay, we'll come back to that one in a bit. All right, so you're a bit lukewarm at the minute. Who has anyone else seen it? Anyone else? No. All right.
Yeah, I have. I'm not really digging it at the moment. It seems to be a little bit all over the place, trying to pack everything in at the moment. So still early. But
how far you got?
Well, it's the one episode of because
just one. Okay.
Yeah. Task, I've already watched all 3, but we'll talk about that one when we get to it.
Yeah, I've seen 4. I've seen 4 of Task. We'll come on to that in a bit. All right, so we'll table the hack for now. Watch more if you feel you want to. If you want to bow out on episode 1, that's absolutely fine.
I think I'll give it one more, but I wasn't gripped.
Okay. We won't rate it today. We'll pick it up next week. All right, okay. So we're going to move on from that one. Another series that I stumbled on completely by innocent, and I know he's not popular man of the month right now, but I quite like Mark Ruffalo as an actor. Probably because I really liked him in A Normal Heart, which was a gut-wrenching play that I might do a stream on at some point. But I kind of have followed his work ever since. Now, a good way to describe Task for anyone who hasn't seen it is this is very similar to Heat. It's 2 narratives. One is an FBI team who are trying to track down a bunch of robbers. The robbers are quite specialist. They target sort of high-end drug dealer houses. When I say high-end, I mean that will have a large amount of either drugs or money. I don't mean posh buildings. And the reason that these people know that these places are drug dealers, this is a bit of a spoiler alert, but it is in the first episode, is the bunch of robbers are actually bin men, and how they're assessing which houses to hit is by looking at the refuse of the various buildings. When they get a gut feeling that that's what that building was being used for, they check the refuse. If it confirms there's a lab in there, they then hit that lab and they steal whatever money or drugs they can find. And Tom Pelphrey, who's an actor I wasn't familiar with, I actually thought that this was the guy from Lone Survivor, one of the leads from, because they look really, really similar, but it's not the same actor. Trap House, thank you. That's a good. There you go. There's the criminal technology. Thank you, Mr. E. But I saw the first episode and I thought, actually, this is not bad. I'm going to give this another go. I'll go to episode 2. I'll watch episode 2, and there's a couple of annoying characters, and there's a bit of box ticking going on. But there's enough here that it's not bad. And I've seen 4. Overall, I give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's very watchable. There's some really good acting. There is some naff stuff. There is some box ticking that feels very, very obviously so. But I am enjoying it because there's some good writing and there's some good performances. So it's a soft recommendation for me. Haven't seen the whole thing. It's being released. Northern, I think you've seen a few, so jump in.
Yeah, I've only seen the first 3 episodes at the moment. I'm still waiting for is the 4th one already out?
I've seen the 4th one.
Is it already out? Oh,
I didn't say that. I said I've seen it.
Right.
Officially only 3, I think.
Yeah, the 3rd episode, it's all right in places, but I don't buy Tom Ruffalo is in this part. He's way too passive, and I know he's kind of got this defeated. He's kind of got this backstory that's kind of defeated him, but he's leading a task force. He still has to have some kind of authority presence, some commanding presence, and he doesn't have that. But I do like Tom Pelphrey in this. I think he's a very underrated actor. I've been digging ever since Ozark. I've been digging this actor.
Yeah.
And it really made up for his role in Iron Fist, which I think he was very sadly wasted on. But his character is pretty cool. I do like his I do like the little story arc he's got into a little bit. The ranting woman was a bit annoying, but at least she is a character that has some context, and I think she might improve as the episodes go on. I'm not buying the other woman, FBI agent as well.
No, she's a really weak character for me.
Yeah, they're giving her a backstory, tragic backstory, but we'll see what the other episodes do for us. See if they actually give us something to work with. But
she just feels right now like someone who would not have passed the FBI admissions test.
Yeah, I know. But I will say this: there was a lot of things wrong. Like when I'm trying not to spoil this as well, but there's a bit in episode 2 where they make a big mistake of leaving behind someone who could connect them to the actual crime scene, and they don't burn the house down, getting rid of all the evidence, and they pick up something that they did not expect, and don't really try to sell it off, knowing that this could possibly get them into even bigger trouble with much dangerous people.
Yeah.
So it's like this is like an example where sorry that you wasted all your time planning this out and it went to waste, but cut your losses, mate. You're going to get yourself killed. You're going to get your family killed, everything.
Although if you do watch a lot of crime documentaries, which I do, you will realise that a lot of criminals do behave rather stupidly from time to time. So it's
but these are supposed to be smarter criminals, aren't they? And they're just kind of coming across.
I don't know. He's got a man bun.
Crime scenes, you know.
How smart can he be? He's got a man bun.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's still okay. I mean, it does feel like it's getting a little bit better, but there's still a lot wrong with it.
Before I hear from someone else, would you agree that you could cut out the FBI perspective of this show, and actually the show would still be pretty good, even if it was just told from the criminal's point of view?
The criminal point of view is the strongest part of it.
Definitely the strongest.
Tom Pelphrey is a miles more charismatic actor than Mark Ruffalo, in my opinion.
Whereas with like Heat, both the Pacino and the De Niro narratives, you know, the two sides of the coin are equally gripping, or equally interesting, or equally sort of chaotic. And so, Al, you've seen this one, I think, as well, right?
Yeah, I've watched 2 episodes. I watched the first episode and I was ambivalent on it. As you say, there is a lot of very obvious box ticking that you will just roll your eyes at.
Have we?
And
Sorry,
there's
have
a
we
lot of things where I was just like, of course.
Sorry. Have we not got Toxic in? Did I accidentally knock him out or something?
I don't think I got him in the first place, but he's backstage.
Oh
I think.
God. I thought I brought him in. Let me. You carry on. Sorry, I'll drop him a message on Facebook. To let him know. Right, carry on talking, mate.
Oops.
Oops.
So yeah, after the first episode, I mean, I was 50-50 on it basically. I was like, yeah, it's doing a lot of box ticking, but the criminal side of it had me going, and there's a bit of intrigue and a bit of action towards the end of episode 1. I was like, you know what? I'll give it another episode. And I watched that about 2 hours before this stream, and I'm in, man. I'm like, yeah, there's some good writing here. There's some good stuff. There's some great acting. There's still some stupid stuff in there, but I'm going to keep going with this one. I definitely like it a lot more than The Hack. Mark Ruffalo is just playing the kind of character that Mark Ruffalo loves to play, a weak man.
Right.
Toxic,
Did you see this? Because I was particularly interested in what your thoughts were.
Yeah, and now I don't want to talk about it now because you've kept me in the green room too long. So no, go to someone else.
I'm so sorry. That was completely unintentional on my part. I actually thought you can't see my computer at the minute, but
it's
this
fine.
box is
I'm just kidding.
Really squashed up in a corner.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Here at the minute, it isn't helping me. So I'm
It's
completely deaf on my right side.
It's my fault for showing up early. Whenever I show up early, bad things happen. So that's my fault.
So why am I the Jimmy Kimmel? What's going on? Okay, so I am interested in your opinion. Go for it.
Yeah, as much as I like Tom Pelphrey, especially from Ozark and a couple of other things that I've seen him in, I just couldn't watch this. This was like all like rip off of Mayor of Kingstown, like you said, Heat. Even a little bit of Ozark. It's all just a rip off of these things that have done this material way better, man. This is, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super great at separating the art and the artist. I'm sorry. Every time Ruffalo's up on the screen, I died a little bit inside. Okay. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I think Pelphrey must have like a thing with HBO and a couple, because he's been in a couple. He was also in that one with the WandaVision, the Olsen chick last year or the year before, where they did the true story of her murdering her friend when she had the affair with her husband. And he was great in that as well. He's just a really enigmatic actor. He can pull off so many different roles. So I did want to watch this.
Like him. Yeah,
I did want to watch this for his sake, but I just couldn't. I just shut it off and jumped on to the other thing that I'll discuss when it's my turn to run my mouth. So,
all right, Stupenzo, have you seen this?
This is my first time hearing of this.
Okay, all right, we'll move on.
Isn't that a fisting tattoo on that guy's arm? That's how deep he's been inside someone.
I mean,
Stupenzo, please elaborate as to how you're familiar with this.
I mean, is he wrong though?
I
don't think he's wrong.
Adam Gray told me that is not true, but that's what I've heard.
I'd like to know how do you know?
Listen,
I just heard about if you see that tattoo on someone, that's what it means.
Yeah. No,
when it comes to, I've never seen Stupenzo's arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
Were you able to crane?
It's because my tattoo's way up here. My ring is like way up here in my bicep. That's why you never see it. Because I've been.
He goes all in. He goes like
I go shoulder deep.
Yeah, he's like Sam Neill at Jurassic Park digging
like
into
James Harriet.
Oh my god.
He doesn't
Derailed
stop
completely.
Yeah, he doesn't stop till he feels.
Don't ask me about the movie. I haven't seen.
Okay.
They say talk about what you know. You know, they say talk about what you know.
And so fisting was high on the list.
Fisting was naturally the next segue.
Yeah.
Inside Man, have you seen any episodes of this?
This, unfortunately, I've not seen. I didn't actually have time to see this. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, that's all right. If you do watch it, report back.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Is that what's her name?
Martha Plimpton, who I actually went for a drink and dinner with. About 4 years ago. Not just me. There was about 8 of us at the Ivy, and she was kind enough to buy me a rather large glass of wine and some fries, which was very nice of her. Really lovely woman. Has to be said. So she was in a play with a friend of mine, and I went to see the play, and we all kind of went together for a drinky poo. So, and she was great in the play. She was fantastic on stage. Yeah, so Martha Plimpton's got a little role in this. Rachel, have you seen any episodes of this?
I've watched the first 2, and I don't know that I'll finish it. It just feels like I've seen it before. There's just too much of it I've seen in other series and other movies, probably done better, which is a shame because I like the cast, but I don't know that I like them enough to stick around for the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the cast that pulled me in. I mean, it does feel like that there's a bit of Sons of Anarchy here. There's a bit of Mayor of Kingstown. You know, there's a bit of the FBI drama show, but tonally, it doesn't match any of those shows. It's trying to do its own thing, but its tone feels very uneven. Don't know if that's fair.
Is Mark Ruffalo like kind of a washed up, kind of eccentric or something? You'd think as an FBI agent he'd be a little more clean cut, get a haircut, shave. It's like part of the ritual waking up.
Well, he's going through some sort of home difficulties. So the way to show that is, you know, by giving him an unkept beard and you know, graying hair.
Making him fat and sad and alcoholic.
Well, it's funny because this is like what I'm seeing so far. Like, I want to see it. I might see it tomorrow, but I'm really excited about Paul Thomas Anderson's next movie, One Battle After Another. And everyone's saying it's good, but it's all about it's all about like revolutionaries and domestic terrorists. But it's supposed to be funny. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm excited, but yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with a lot of the shows. I feel like the predictive programming is just, it's amping up.
Yeah. All right. Well, ratings then. Those people who've seen this so far. I mean, it's a soft 6.5 from me. So yeah, there's a lot I like about it, and I like the way it looks. I like the way it's shot. And one of the things that's really interesting about this show, and I don't know if this is a cost thing or if they're just going for claustrophobia. There's not a lot of big epic shots. They don't do drone shots. There aren't like big establishes of locations. Unless we're in a street at night, your POV from the lens is always quite narrow. It's always quite, we're in a wooded enclosed area or a wooded enclosed street. Whether that's all because this is kind of all shot on the back lot of the Atlanta studios or whether they're going for that as a natural effect, I'm not really sure. But actually, I quite like that. Gives the show a slightly different vibe.
Well, here's the thing about HBO, Lance. I mean, they revolutionized things when they had Game of Thrones, clearly, but then just a couple years later, they did it again with True Detective, but they've never been able to get back to that season 1 aesthetic that they had, and that just really incredible. They keep trying to recreate it with multiple seasons of True Detective, and then other shows that are similar to it, like, or at least trying to be similar to it, like this one. And they're just not. They want to get that kind of claustrophobic and slightly grimy feel. I mean, some of them are good. Mayor of Easttown that came out. That was pretty good, mostly because of the regional dialect and down to Kaylee Spanian, Titanic's actress, how good they did. Kate Winslet, thank you. But more often they fail at that, trying to recreate that vibe that they got from 2013's True Detective season 1. I just don't think they're going to be able to recreate it, and they keep on. They're almost like programming it into Chat GPT to like try to do it, but they're not actually putting the effort in the. And Mark Ruffalo and God bless him, Tom Pelfrey's a great actor, but they're very lame duck comparisons to Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey in their prime. So
what's your final rating on it?
I'm gonna give it a 3 just for Tom Pelfrey. just for
Right.
that. But I mean, like I said, I only watched the one episode. But I mean, I'll stick with a show if it's decent. I will. And
Al, what and
I'll give it a
sorry,
7. First
Final
episode, I wasn't that impressed, but I carried on. And the second episode, I mean, there's some good stuff there. The character of Maeve's quite interesting. There's some cool things. There's definitely some stuff I could do without, including most of the FBI stuff. But there's enough intrigue there now. We've got the biker gang on the trail, as it were, and yeah, I kind of want to see what's going to happen. So I'm going to carry on watching it. I'll give it a 7.
Okay, interesting. Northern.
I give it a 3 as well. I'm with Toxic on this. Tom Pelphrey makes it worth watching.
It's interesting. There you go. The panel's a little bit divided there. So, all right, we're going to move on because there's been a few occasions where we've almost had a universal 10 across the board on this channel, where a show has just been so unanimously made us feel a certain way emotionally that we just we're just all on board. And then of course there's Alien Earth.
What are we talking about? I love this show.
Which, when the trailer dropped, we were wary, but we like to give things a fair crack on this channel. I mean, God, me and Blue Collar even did a episode by episode of The Acolyte because we were trying to give it a fair shake. I knew I wasn't going to do a separate thing of Alien Earth. I was just going to include it on here. On the first episode, I was like, there are some good things here, but there's some mess as well. Let's see how this develops. And then as the show sort of unfolded, the mess got bigger. The good stuff stayed consistent. For me, the good stuff in this show is the production design is the bollocks. I mean, it really recreated the feel, the old style computers from the original 80 movie. The look, the feel of Alien and Aliens, the sets, the combat weapons all feel like they exist within that world that we already know. So all of that stuff is great. And the way it's shot, for the most part, looks good. The special effects, for the most part, are decent. The CGI, for the most part, there's a couple of very ropey shots of the alien, but for the most part, that stuff's pretty top drawer. And I could forgive the odd stuff that looks a bit ropey if the writing was equally top drawer. The acting is a mixed bag. I would say on the whole, the acting is pretty good. And some actors are doing actually quite a good job with a pretty bad set of tools. It's just the writing is just, I mean, what did they do? Kind of like get an Osprey book on Alien. I don't know what happened here.
I can tell you they didn't even read that because they got way too much wrong.
Read the Cliff Notes.
There's pulse rifles existing 50 years before they're supposed to.
It's not just things that are wrong. There are things that make absolutely no sense, like the way you've got what is probably the most vital science lab on the planet, which has zero security whatsoever, and is just also the way that all works and stuff is completely nonsensical. This kid who's supposed to be this super genius, if that's the way he functioned previously, how the hell did he end up becoming a billionaire? Because he is so fucking
trillionaire.
Dumb. Whatever,
trillionaire.
yeah.
We're told he's the world's first trillionaire. How do you build unpredictable robots with children's minds and not put in a kill switch?
I mean, I will give the actors credit that are playing the kids. They do that whole "I'm playing a child" thing, really well. They're convincing.
Yeah. I think to different extents. I think some do it better than others. But they all. That's what they were told to do. They were told to act like children. They're acting like children. I get it.
But
the writing's just awful, as you say.
It's not good.
It's also really self-destructive, Lance. This is what really winds me up with it, is it purposely says things it doesn't need to say, which then fall apart later that it didn't need to say. So it's actually sabotaging itself as it goes on. I've never seen anything quite like it, to be honest.
I haven't seen episode 8 yet. I've seen all 7 of the others. I've got some friends that do really like this.
Yeah, so do I. It's weird.
They've actually said to me, it's a shame you're having a pop at it on your show because I really like it. And I said, there are things about it I do really like. And it's one of them shows that I find really frustrating because there's a ton of money spent here. There's evidently a lot of talent here. There are some very talented actors. There's some very talented visual creators, the DOPs, you know, the production designers, the wardrobe people.
Honestly, I think production-wise, I think it could win awards.
Yeah, it probably will. It's just this colossal waste of money. Let's not give.
I feel sorry for the people that worked on it. I really do.
See, I haven't watched the show, but that's the thing is I'm hearing a lot of it's not that bad, or yeah, it's bad, but it's still better than 90% of the Alien franchise, which is funny.
No,
but I'm also hearing
this is rock bottom of everything. This makes Alien 1 look like a masterpiece.
I'm also hearing like there are decent elements in the show, but none of it is Alien related. All the stuff that isn't related to the xenomorph is like the cool stuff. That's neat.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? If you took the xenomorph,
I prefer this if it wasn't an Alien show.
If you took the alien out of this completely and made it a non-alien show, no eggs, no facehuggers.
What about tentacles?
Have the funny guy with the eyeball. Have the other weird bugs. This would
so the eyeball alien.
Show. This would be
You've got some half decent.
But didn't they do that with Prometheus though?
They did kind of shoehorn a xenomorph in at the end, even though it looked different, and you know, I mean, but yeah, I know what you mean.
The problem is, this is a prequel.
It was originally a xenomorph, but the CGI looks shit.
You're saying this is worse than Prometheus?
Yes.
I think
it's worse than Covenant.
I think
it's worse than AVP.
I think this is worse than Alien versus Predator Requiem.
Well, let's go. Right, let's go down the ladder here. So one at a time. For Northern, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Give us your thoughts. So save ratings until the end.
I'm assuming it's crap. I have not watched any of Alien yet.
Thank you. I like these short, concise ones. Toxic.
I'll binge it this week and give you my rating on it next week.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna show up next week and be like, it was a C minus. I'm just
out of 10.
You don't have the power.
Toxic. Did you watch this?
Yeah, so can I say something in its defense and go against the crowd a little bit?
Mate, it's not.
No.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we're in a echo chamber.
You can be the mauler of our group. All
right, I want to say something in its defense. Now, Al has said, and Critical Drinker has said, and a couple other people, that the pulse rifle thing, like they wouldn't be using it 50. So the AR-15 was brought into the service in 1962, and we still use it to this day.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying canonically, the pulse rifle wasn't invented till 2171.
Oh,
this is set in 21.
We have a hard date for that.
That is all I have for this. I have no other.
In Alien 1, which is set 20 years after this, they're using prototype pulse rifles.
Okay.
In this, they're using the full thing.
For me, that's not a major. I don't really care about that.
Anachronism, Lance. That's that word I couldn't think of in the green room. Anachronism. It's an anachronism.
Doesn't
make sense. I mean, that is one of the least of this show's problems. This show,
man. How much of this? Hold on, now. How much of this have you seen?
All of it now. 7. So.
Have you seen it? There's 8 episodes, though, isn't there?
You're giving it a 7 out of 10? No. Wow.
I've seen 7 of these now. So
right, you haven't seen the final. You haven't seen the last one.
No.
So am I the only one here who's seen the finale?
No, you're not the only one.
Okay, you and Rachel have. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you in a minute. So, Inside Man, your view of the first 7 episodes.
Right, okay, so right, Alfred Hitchcock said, right, there are 3 components that make a great movie or TV series, and those 3 components are script, and script. Oh. And this is lacking in anything coherent. To me, it's like, 3 or 4 people happen to have had a bundle of pages and they've bumped into each other in the corridor. The pages have gone everywhere. They've scooped them all up and they've handed them in some kind of coherent form. What I think is completely unforgivable is this. Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon had the same 26 letters to use in various combinations, and so did James Cameron for Aliens. And these people, these utter morons, couldn't get the configuration or the permutations of these 26 letters that could have gone into something very, very good. And I think it's completely unforgivable. I think The aesthetic of it, yes, is good, but that's a given. That was already given to them. That was gifted to them. The aesthetic of the Alien movies was gifted to them. So I don't think that they really deserve that much in the way of credit. You know, you've got the not Stromo, you've got the cut price Marines, more 0 hours contract than Zero Dark 30. It was the most painful thing for me to watch. I think it would have been less painful for me to slide down a giant razor blade naked and use my balls as a brake. To be perfectly honest with you, I hated everything about it.
Good visual on that one.
Yeah,
Inside Out, man.
I just I couldn't believe what I was watching. I thought it was the most coherent incoherent nonsense I think I've ever had the misfortune to watch. And I'm so disappointed because the big gift for these people is the franchise, is the property, the intellectual property, right? And they continuously, relentlessly spin gold into straw. And it's beyond me. It baffles me beyond any words, to be perfectly honest with you. I loathe it. I hate it. I never want to see it again. I feel very sorry for the actors because, you know, you've got some incredibly competent actors that are in that cast. And I would never blame the actors for anything that they're given, that they're dealt. You know, the hand that everybody, I think, has been dealt on this is solely the responsibility of the showrunner. And shame on him for ruining something which could have been something really quite magnificent. But they had the chance. They had the chance, just like they always have these chances, and they blew it.
Rachel, your thoughts in a couple of minutes.
A couple of minutes. I'll be honest with you. When I first started episode 1, I knew I was going to be taking notes. So I pulled out one of my brand new notebooks and started taking notes on page 1. You know how many pages are left in that notebook? 2. After 8 episodes, I've taken 88 pages of notes on what is wrong with this series. How many ways they break the lore. How many ways they took the wrong road when they were on to something. Because it's like they're allergic to making good choices. They set up something with the kids that could have been interesting, and then they take it into just stupid world where none of it makes sense. They set up these fail safes they actually have for these kids, and they're like, oh, those don't matter. By episode 8, it's like they completely forget all of their own rules. And as somebody who grew up reading sci-fi and adores sci-fi, by the end of episode 8, I'm done. If I never see another thing with the alien name on it, I will be happy, because they're just ruining it. They're ruining one of my favorite franchises, my introduction to horror, my introduction to sci-fi horror. They're destroying it. Everything they add makes it worse. And what bothers me with this series is if they would have said it after Alien 3, I couldn't complain about it as much as I do, because that's a blank space. We don't know what happened between 3 and
that would
the other abomination.
Would have been better for sure. I mean,
we do know. Yeah, you're right. One thing we do know about the history is there was a struggle between the companies, and Weyland-Yutani lost in the end. They could have played with that, because that's what they're setting up here, where Weyland-Yutani is fighting against Prodigy, and Prodigy is just, they're shooting themselves in the foot at every opportunity. So they're not really a threat to Weyland-Yutani in the end, as we see. But they could have done so much. And instead, they fall into this transhumanist ditch that Ridley Scott drove us into with Prometheus. And we've been stuck there ever since. I'm really angry about this series.
Hey, I feel like that speech was rehearsed. Very good. So So generally dissatisfactory. Before we give scores, Al, I'll let you do the final summation. Wasn't this scene great, eh? Where it did,
you always
where
want a pet dog alien. I mean, by the end of this finale, she is the girl that is the key to everything. Mary Sue. I can do anything. I can control everything. It's ridiculous. I am going to talk at length about this tomorrow on a show that Toxic's doing, which I'll let him talk about later.
So give me a brief now.
It is the most self-sabotaging thing I have ever seen. I have never seen anything. I've never seen a show trip over itself like this one has, quite so badly. Like, for example, there's a bit where they decide there's a new bit of law that rather than being in hypersleep for an entire journey and then being woken up when you get to the place, which is the whole life of hypersleep, now they're on shifts. Okay, so they're like, right, okay, now everybody's on shifts, which doesn't really make any sense in having a hypersleep. Okay, because of that conceit, because they've changed that simple thing in the law, there is an entire episode that doesn't work. An entire episode of the show that just doesn't flat out doesn't
happen
work.
on the ship episode.
Or everything that happens on the ship. Absolutely everything. Because the saboteur is the chief engineer, and you're telling me nobody. And the idea is that basically, sorry for the spoiler, he's been letting himself out of the cryopod and then getting back in the cryopod after he's done his sabotage. You're telling me that the ship has been sabotaged and nobody has checked to see if the chief engineer is in his cryopod.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, I mean, also there's the whole thing with him receiving the communication and.
Oh yeah, Prodigy didn't exist when they left. So how did he know who to message? It's just, and they just don't think about it. It's like at the start of that episode, they say they're 17 days from Earth. Yeah. Throughout that episode, they run out of fuel and we're told that they're locked on course. They can't have sped up. By the end of the episode, Morrow is locking himself into the little safe little room thing so he doesn't get battered out in the crash. And it's 4 seconds to impact with Earth. 17 days have not taken place. A maximum of like 18 hours has taken place in that episode for all the crew to get bumped off in the most stupid ways possible.
Even if you extract all of the logic or the lack of logic within this, you still have the most appalling pieces of writing, I think, that you could ever have the misfortune to watch.
The characters that they've invented are like on the ship, and it's
the dumbest.
Bad. But one of the things that really pisses me off about it, really honestly, inside man, is, and you'll appreciate this, is the fact that they copy things that they've seen and do it so badly. There's a scene in that episode on Imagine Not the Nostromo, as I've called it. Yeah. And they try to copy the scene when the crew are talking on the Nostromo in Alien.
Yeah, I know.
And it's done so appallingly because that scene, you know, that you got that scene where they're talking on the Nostromo and you've got Brett and he's like, right. And you get a kind of idea of what kind of character Brett is. Yeah. And you know who he is. Yeah. And that never happens at one stage.
The thing about Brett is, right, okay, he might be a little bit of a pothead, but he ain't no fucking dummy.
No.
Right.
He's just a chilled guy who's there for the money, knows what he's doing, he's a grease monkey, you know. Yeah. But you know all that literally just from a few lines.
Right.
We have entire scenes of these morons in this show, and we have no idea who any of them are.
Right.
There's people whose names I don't know after 8 episodes.
I like the way this guy's going full Hobbit Elijah Wood in this shot.
I hate that man's feet. I hate that man's feet with a passion.
Such a stereotype of the quirky genius eccentric who's such a moron. You know that he just can't. I mean,
wasn't this guy done better in Death Note? Just this awkward, like nerdy sort
of. It's L from Death Note.
With his feet out all the time.
The show is just a point. I mean, in this scene right here, Morrow has actual information that will instantly end it in Weyland-Yutani's favor.
Yeah,
he has seen the video that shows that Prodigy conspired with a member of the Imagine Not the Nostromo to deliver the aliens to Prodigy, and he says nothing.
Yeah, I like this actress, by the way. She was great in this.
Yeah, she was fine. Honestly, Lance, I couldn't really blame because the actors were doing what they were told.
Yeah.
Everything has to fall on the writers, and you can see that the writers wrote different episodes. So
Yeah.
therefore, everything falls on the showrunner for
Yeah.
not making it all
Totally.
match.
Totally.
This is all Noah Hawley's
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Look, I'm all for subverting expectation and all that kind of stuff. I'm fine with that. But this doesn't. It's almost like, you know, it thinks it's 99% smarter than it actually is, and it really
God,
isn't
yeah.
a smart
No.
show. It's
No.
not a smart show at all.
It's. I mean, they contradict themselves so much. In one episode, they just turn off Wendy's hearing. They then say that they've got a 2-year battery life.
Yeah, I
And
know.
in the very next scene, she
terrible.
can't hear us. We've got her in charging mode. What?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not particularly keen on the amount of exposition dumps that you get in this either.
And the obnoxious crossfading as well.
Oh,
what was
that
that?
was
What?
terrible.
Yeah.
I
Between
think they
that
were
and the flashing.
Yeah, were they
Yeah,
trying to be arty or something with that? You know,
There
and
is the only thing I can think of is there is a scene, if you remember correctly, in the start of Aliens, where they find Ripley and Ripley's face in the hypersleep chamber crossfades to Earth when
Yep.
you see that she's on
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Gateway
fine.
Station. I've got a
Yes,
feeling they're
yeah,
just trying to
that's right,
ape
yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
even the
Mhm.
soundtrack in this, when it's not doing the rock music, is taking from every single Alien film, including Alien Resurrection.
Well,
Yep.
okay, gentlemen and ladies, we're going to pause Alien Earth there because I feel we've discussed this bollocks for long
Yeah, and
enough.
I'll be talking about it tomorrow anyway. It's a
And,
0 out of 10.
And
0.
if you want to hear a rant from Al,
Yep.
that's coming up tomorrow. Northern, have you got a rating for this?
0 out of 10.
Toxic.
Oh, and I will just say quickly, I have reviewed every episode of this, and I will be reviewing the finale on my
I know
channel.
you
to put it out.
Yeah, Toxic, you got a rating for this?
0.
Okay. Al,
0. I'd give it -50 if I could.
Stupenzo's going to come back and rate it next week. Inside Man.
I'll give it a 6. No.
Oh, Enzo, I swear to God.
Inside Man.
I'm with Al on this. I would give it minus if I could, but it's an absolute 0.
Rachel, 9. Oh wow, that's good high rating.
Would you guys have liked it better if it wasn't 8
No.
hours long? Like if it was just like
No.
a 90-minute movie? No.
No, it's too stupid. If you boiled this down to 90 minutes, it's concentrated stupidity.
I can't give this a 0. I have to give it, some points for things. So I've got to give it, 1 point for production design. It's okay. They had an easy job. They've replicated the world, but they've done it well. I like the way it's shot. I think most of the special effects are good, and so that's 3 right there. And I
There's
think
some
the
good
majority,
death scenes at least. Does someone
Yeah,
get
not
like their
really, but
entrails
the-
ripped? No.
No.
God damn it.
Not
not really. Actually, the death scenes in this were pretty shit, to be honest. Especially the chest burster thing and all of that. I think
That's like the main attraction to go see a fucking alien movie is watching
Some-
dudes
some-
like chest
Not in
explode.
this.
some of the
Not in
acting,
this.
was good as well. Most of the acting was good, so I'd give it a 4 out of 10. But the 6 points that are missing are 6 really like vital points. So
I think when
There's
you
a
got
reason you don't film the alien in daylight.
yeah,
Because that was
Yeah,
people
that-
hated
that was
Romulus. People
that
hated
was-
Romulus, but Romulus, the chest burster scene in that one was fucking awesome. That's what I want.
well,
There's
it-
something
I don't
inside
like
me.
Romulus.
Ah!
I don't like Romulus at all, but this does make Romulus like a half decent movie. It really does.
I don't understand why. I'm not sure why the acid only burns when it's convenient for it to burn through things.
So I don't know what
what
what you're talking about specifically, but the alien blood is acidic and it neutralizes shortly after it dies.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
when
my
it's when it's
favourite thing is
alive,
when
when the
they-
blood is
when it's got a blade inside it, I'm sure it would have burnt that blade, but apparently not.
yeah.
I was
yeah.
about to say the alien's
gets
bulletproof, but you
worse.
can cut it with a paper cutter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bullets
you can
don't
slice the
work.
thing up with a box cutter. You're fine.
all right. Well, this is we're signing off from Alien Earth now. This
Indeed.
is Ripley of the Nostromo
There you go.
signing off, mate. And enough time is spent. Well, that's got a sort of record. 4 hours, 4 out of 60 or 70. So, pretty. That's a,
I mean,
that's
you know, a
pretty
lot of that is speaking
Oh
as
my
a fan of
gosh.
the IP. If you're going to look at it rationally, you'd have to say, yes, the production values are good. Maybe it does deserve a point for that. But it's insulting, man. It's insulting
It is insulting.
to the IP.
All right,
Yep.
It is insulting.
we're gonna cover a couple of other things now. We're gonna also look at a couple of oldies. So another film that's been out that's been getting mostly sort of positive reviews is The Long Walk. I have not seen this yet, but I know some of you have. I think Stupenzo has seen it.
Did.
Yeah.
did.
So Stupenzo, I'll let you.
I
have
did the
first.
challenge. I did the long walk challenge.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because apparently you could walk 3 miles an hour on a treadmill while watching the movie, which obviously not nearly as hard as like doing the actual long walk challenge, which is like walking nonstop for like 5 days. So I mean, yeah. But the idea, I don't know. This is one of those movies where I watched it. I watched a crappy cam version at double speed for political reasons. Didn't feel like paying for this, but I enjoyed it at double speed. I think that helped. It made it more exciting. Also, you know, usually
make it
if a
a
movie's
short
good,
jog.
Yeah, more of a
Right.
short walk then.
right. But also,
A
you know,
casual stroll.
this is one of those movies where, like, it's okay, but it has such a limited rewatchability factor. Like, this would have been
agreed.
better.
Agreed.
This is based on a short story, and that's pretty obvious. I think this would have been better if it was like a, you know, a 40-minute, 30-minute Black Mirror episode or something like that. A 90-minute movie. I mean, I'm glad that it's only 90 minutes, and there's just a lot of problems with it in terms of like the world building. And I understand it's kind of got this like vague like Hunger Games kind of the Giver kind of setting. Like you don't really know all the rules. You're just seeing like one little facet of society. But basically, it looks like it takes place in the 50s or 60s, but there's been this great war and America is rebuilding. The economy is garbage. And something we're doing every year is sacrificing like 18 young men for some reason. You know, the idea is we're all going to go walk and, you know, last one walking lives and gets a bunch of money and a wish, like they're fucking, like it's a genie or something. And there is a big problem with the ending. The ending is pretty much where I think it just kind of made me roll my eyes really hard. You know, the actors are fine. There are some fun scenes. I mean, if you like watching people taking their pants off and shitting while walking, getting shot in the head over and over again. The first 3 times, like the first 3 times someone gets killed, you're like, wow. After that, you just stop caring. Like someone's shot, it's like, oh, I stubbed someone's, you know, it's like stubbing your toe. It's like, also the other thing that's interesting is the camaraderie is very strange because you would know getting into this mission like it's walk or die. The last one, man, everyone else dies. You're going to watch everybody die. And yet they continuously act like surprised by that or like heartbroken about every time someone dies. I would think that you would just be more, you know, ready for what you're doing. I also think that, you know, I didn't mind the vague, like, timeline this takes place in. I liked how it's like kind of the 70s, kind of the 50s, kind of the future. Who cares? You know, the cast is fine. I do like that black English guy from
David
Alien
Ford
Romulus.
Johnson.
Yeah, he was in that other movie, that rom-com.
He
from
was
Britain.
in Peckham. He was in Peckham, the love story
Right.
with him and the girl on the first date.
There was a movie that I recommended not long ago. It was like Rye Lane, I think is what it's called, or something.
Yeah, because it's Peckham Rye Lane. Sorry, Rye Lane
That was a really good movie, and he
That's
was really
fun
good in
film.
this. But
Fun little-
yeah, this is Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, the main guy. He's in Licorice Pizza. He's great, but the movie's not, I would say, woke, but it's there. It's very it's very anti-American.
Why are they
it's just-
walking? Is it to like get the survival of the fittest, get the fittest out of all of them, or something?
I can
Or-
answer that when
They-
it's my turn. I can answer that better.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Hunger Games, where it's like to boost morale. We're gonna have this televised long walk, and it's kind of like a lottery / sweepstakes / game show.
Is Luke Skywalker in the movie?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he is the bad guy, or I guess the big general guy who's yelling. I thought Brad Dourif had aged terribly. I'm not joking. I thought it was Brad Dourif looking really haggard, and then I
Wow.
kept hearing like Mark Hamill's name attached to it, and then I realized like, oh, that is Mark Hamill as the the grizzled general who's yelling at everyone. Good luck, boys. You made it the first day. That's a huge monument. Keep walking, and I'm gonna shoot this guy. We're gonna shoot this guy in the head because he's tying his shoes too long. It's just, like I said, this movie would have been better at 40 minutes long, which is about how long it took me to watch it. And also, I would say you should watch it once. There's really no point in watching it ever again. Like I said, rewatchability is a huge factor in a good movie or not. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's so depressing, you won't want to watch it. No, I'm just saying like, it's so thin, and it's just so flat that you don't really need to rewatch it again unless you're I don't know, taking notes.
Do you think this movie might have been better if this was released like maybe 20 or 30 years ago?
Northern, have you seen it?
And wasn't written by Stephen King.
No, it would have been the same. I still think it would have been better if it was shorter, if it was like a short movie. This was a 30, 40-minute anthology episode. This would have been pretty good.
So, Northern, have you seen this?
I've not had a chance to watch it. I want to try and watch it this week and get a review.
All right.
on it.
I love these short answers of yours tonight. Keep those coming.
All over again.
Fox, I know you've got something to say about this. Jump in.
Yeah, so first book I ever read, first adult book. I mean, I read Star Wars books and stuff before this. So this is the first book I ever read. It came in the four pack compendium of short stories under the Richard Bachman pseudonym. And it's one of two of the Richard Bachman movies that are going to be adapted this year. The second being The Running Man, which will come out in November. It's also the first book Stephen King ever wrote. And it was a trunk novel, and he just let it sit there until he started doing the Bachman thing. And it's very close, and it's very different than the book. It's close in so many ways that almost like the dialogue is ripped right out of the pages. So I really like that. And one of the reasons I like that is because as good of an actor as he is, David Johnson, who plays McFries, really struggles with his American accent. It sounds like he has marbles in his mouth. He basically sounds like what Northern English Bastard sounded like in year one of Losers Lounge when we first started doing that, before we Americanized him a little bit, and we could kind of get the mashed potatoes out of his mouth. But he's still very good. He's very compelling. He's basically like this cheerleader for the rest of the guys. And, they change some very specific aspects of the characters. And I think most of the changes work. The basic plot is the same. They did change it from 100 long walkers to 50, one representing each state. And I think that was a very smart choice. I agree with Stupenzo. This would have worked better as like a short Black Mirror type episode, because it is a lot of, but then again, you wouldn't get the grueling, like beating you down. Like I read this book on the bus when I was in junior high school, and I could feel the weight of it. I could feel like the exhaustion of these guys. And one of the main points of the book is, it's brotherhood. It's, these guys that are disaffected youths that basically sign up to be churned into this slaughterhouse. And it's, it's supposed to be an allegory tale to Vietnam, which was happening at the time that Stephen King wrote this.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I can see. Yeah, I see where he was.
Yeah. So they made some improvements that would not have been possible had this been made 20 years ago. Hell, if you'd had asked me 20 years ago, what of my Stephen King, and it's widely known, I'm a huge Stephen King fan of, not the man, of his art. I would have said this is impossible to film. Like there's no way, because most of this stuff happens in the mind of the kids that are doing this, and they are kids, and it's it's brutal. Everyone brings their A game in this. Like the acting is, I mean, if there's any worry that Cooper Hoffman would be yet another Nepo baby, I can dissuade you of that fear right now. He is the real motherfucking deal. In this story, I will never watch this again. They do completely change the ending from the book. I can't say whether it's good or bad because that really just depends on you yourself. You know, I can't say because the book ending isn't great either. As far as that goes, like the winner of the walk is completely changed from the book ending. So,
Right.
See, that was the big problem with the movie I had.
I kind of thought, yeah, I have recommended people who have not read it. They may like it more than someone who has. I will be doing a consider the source on this, but I'm waiting until The Running Man comes out so I can do a double whopper of two
Okay.
Bachman books at once.
All right, fair enough. Has anybody else seen this?
No,
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 okay.
I've not seen.
Right, fine.
No,
So-
not yet.
Depends. Rating out of 10.
I don't know, 6.5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. It's all right.
Toxic?
I'll give it a 6 for the acting. Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine. I like that. 6 for the acting, but 0 for Alien Earth, even though some of the acting was good.
Yeah. Fuck that show, Lance. Sorry.
Hey, man. Listen, if that's the way you want to go, that's fine. It's a democracy here. All right. Well, The Long Walk. I don't know if I'm going to bother with it now. I feel like I saw the movie in the trailer. It was one of those. I just
Yeah,
felt like-
yeah.
You have
Yeah,
you've
I
if
agree
you've
with
seen
that.
the trailer and the one clip that they put out that was a red
yeah.
red what you call
That
it
was
clip?
another thing I
Red
didn't like,
flag.
the computer animated violence. I
Yeah.
felt like if they had just used some graphic squibs, like, yeah, the whole point is you're gonna shoot kids in the head over and over. Why not have like the Schindler's List style, like blood squirting out, you know, getting everywhere? Instead, it's all just computer animated Pixar crap. It looks bad.
Have they aged the kids up from the book?
Yeah.
Probably.
Mostly.
I figured they would.
Mostly. I mean, they're still of teenage years, but
If
mostly.
these were a bunch of 13-year-olds, dude, that would have been nuts.
Let
Well,
me
in the
move
book-
on. Darth Vader says Logan's Run sounds more sophisticated than Walk or Die. No argument from me
Yeah.
there. Even though both involve slaughtering the young. I mean, I will say now, I'd actually like to see a modern take on
Yeah.
Logan.
That'd be
I
pretty
would
cool,
too.
actually.
Dude,
I would too.
nothing beats Battle
on the cards,
Royale.
man.
That's the ultimate kids dying movie.
That's-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That movie
yeah.
is messed
Yeah.
up. But it's
First
good.
one, not the second one. Second one's all right, but
Yeah, Hunger Games doesn't exist without that movie.
second one's like Saving Private Ryan came out. And they said, let's do a
Pleasure.
sequel and put Saving Private Ryan sequence in it. And I was like, what's all that about? Anyway, okay. All right. Well, we'll move on from The Long Walk. We're going to mention a couple of other things now. So one show that dropped, two couple of things that have dropped recently. One's on Hulu. It's called Swiped. Toxic. Is this worth our time? Yes or no? And give us a brief summary of why.
It is worth your time if you are a fan of Lily James and you're interested in knowing how this, mega social media, dating sex app started. If you're interested in that and you like Lily James, you'll find it pretty
Is
compelling.
it a documentary or is this a drama?
It's a drama biopic type. I want to just make it clear, the real life person that she is playing,
Whitney Wolf.
Whitney Wolf, thank you. Whitney Wolf Heard now actually she's completely disavowed the film. So make of that what you will.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, a brief outline of the premise of this show.
So kind of similar to, the Facebook movie, the Zuckerberg Facebook movie in that way.
Okay.
Just shows her starting off in college. She's a phenom, she's very personable. I mean, basically she just plays Lily James in every movie. And she, helps get this thing started with a couple of other, bro tech type guys. Unfortunately, she makes the horrific mistake of dating one of them. And before they even make 1 million with the app, things are going off the rails. And she realizes she's in a toxic boys club. See what I did there? And it has really bad repercussions on her. Knowing now, and she does play it very well, but knowing now that the real life person says that most of that is not true, or at least she doesn't co-sign on it, kind of makes me wonder, because you're looking at this thing that she really like put it all together. Like she even came up with the name, which they later disavowed and said, well, no one can remember that she came up with this name. The guy that plays her on again, off again, love interest is a Hulu mainstay guy. who is in another show that I did watch last year called Tell Me Lies. His name is Jackson White. He plays Justin, and he seems to be making a career of just playing these really just douchebaggery characters that women love to date and ruin their life over. So kudos to him for basically playing me in all of his roles.
So can I just briefly summarize? This is the true story of the development of the dating app Tinder.
It's
Tinder.
highly fictionalized.
Highly
and
fictionalized.
A lot of it's changed.
And she's now, and the real Wolf Herd is now, she co-founded or founded Bumble.
Yes.
A woman-focused dating app in response to
Yes.
what she had seen as wrong.
Yes.
And that's one of the most popular apps now. But actually, people have told me to get on that, and then eventually people just tell me, nah, it's all the same.
Yeah. The first three parts of the, of the story are very good. You get really caught up in the, like developing something and out of nothing, and how they all kind of came together and had this really exciting, because I mean, at this point, it's 2012. We've already had Facebook, we've had MySpace, we've had all this other stuff for a while. We've had all these dating apps, and the way that they developed it, and they kind of revolutionized a lot of stuff by just making it super simple, is pretty exciting. And you get kind of caught up in it. Like every time they reach a milestone, you feel excited with it. The showrunners that are not showrunner, the director and the producer who developed this, they do a really good job of making you feel like you're like one of these tech bros in there with them, making this thing happen. And then later it turns into kind of a Me Too, woman story. So I tolerate the final act just due to the fact that I really like Lily James. I can't say enough good stuff about her when she's on something.
This is a movie as opposed to a mini series, right?
This is a movie. Yeah. Thank God. Yeah. They were really smart. I give it more credit because they did that. This was such a good idea to just make a simple 90-minute movie as opposed to some long ass 8-episode, no offense, Lance, Netflix show or something like that. So
I think this is also on Disney actually at the moment.
Well, okay. So you guys in the UK, Disney's that owns Hulu. So like if you have Disney, you have Hulu.
This is on Disney in the UK.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
As this is about sort of bromance and people meeting online, should we just watch a completely unrelated clip? Good idea, Lance. That's totally unrelated. Right, let's move on. Okay. So sometimes dating apps are good. Not this one, though. Right, okay. Yeah, so that's enough about swiped. Rating out of 10, please.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10 just because it's pretty compelling for the first three-fourths of it. And
I was expecting you to kind of like rate it far lower than that.
No, because everybody acts really well in it, and it's like I said, you get caught up in it. Like I was like getting excited for them. Like I don't give a fuck about Tinder, but I was like watching them, and they developed this, and I'm like, yeah, good for you guys. What's going on? Is someone like dragging something across the carpet or something? What's happening?
Yeah, sounds like someone's sucking a milkshake.
It's one of Critical's spiders eating a small.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, and then like I said, Lily James is just always really compelling. I saw her in another movie called Relay I talked about earlier this year, and she's great in that. She's just always great, man. I'm a big fan of her.
Yeah, I do hear she's a very nice person. Now I know you've also seen this, but if you're the only person who's seen this, I'd like to table this for next week.
No problem.
So, has anyone else seen Black Rabbit? Okay.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
I'm related to a film called Rabbit, which is about a completely different adult-natured device.
Yikes.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on. Stupenzo did mention a couple of films that he'd seen recently, and actually both of these films are favorites of mine. I would like to talk about Cobb briefly. I've seen this. Stupenzo has seen this.
I watched this totally randomly because I don't know. It's just
this came out.
Yeah, and I've heard of it. I remember, it's a movie about Ty Cobb. I didn't know anything about Ty Cobb except he's, a great baseball player. This movie is insane. And Ty Cobb is insane. I am assuming. So first of all, also, what's his name? Yule. He's in Batman, Knox, Arliss.
Robert Wool.
Wool. That's how you say his name. He's great in this movie. He's like the co-star.
Really
Tommy Lee Jones is like elderly Ty Cobb, and he's dying, and he's hiring a writer to write his big biography. And basically, he's hired this guy who's a sports writer, and he needs a good hit. But he's basically like dictating to him what to write. He's saying that he's basically a stenographer and not a writer. And he's like, yeah, you're going to write about all my achievements in baseball. You're not going to talk about the fact that like my mom killed my dad, or that I was a failure of a father and a husband, and I'm a crazy alcoholic and womanizer. You're not going to write about any of this stuff. Womanizing parties and orgies, and the time I beat the shit out of someone in the stands because he was heckling me, and then I realized he had no hands. You're not gonna write about any of this stuff. And the guy's like, okay, but what he's doing is he's typing up on the typewriter like the fake biography, and then meanwhile on like cocktail napkins and anything he can get a hold of, he's like writing scratch notes for like the real book that he plans to release also. And yeah, it's just really wild. And Ty Cobb is great. And also the thing is, the movie, it's really like I don't know, it's really fucked up, but it's also like very old timey, and it's a simple story. It's like a man looking back on his life, and it just has this like kind of old fashioned framing. But yeah, a lot of crazy crap happening in this movie. And I just watched it on a whim, It's an HBO Warner Brothers movie, and it just blew me away. I was totally engrossed in it, and Tommy Lee Jones says the N-word about like 50 times. He's calling black people that all the time throughout the movie. It's amazing. He's a crazy grapist or attempted grapist. It's insane. He's just an
Cobb or Cosby. I'm not sure.
Cobb, yeah, Ty Cobb. There's a part where they're living, like the writer's basically like living with him in his like snowy cabin that he lives in the desolate mountains, I think near in Nevada. And out of nowhere one night it's like a blizzard's happening, and he's like, all right, let's go get some pussy. We're going to go down to town to get some whores and, drive through these like insanely slick mountain roads that are covered in snow and ice. And he's like, drive faster. Like he's like trying to run this guy off the road and stuff. It's insane. It was good though. I liked it a lot. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I've seen this. This kind of it felt at the time when it came out, it was like Tommy Lee Jones's attempt to get it bagging an Oscar. It's that kind of film. It's a bit of an Oscar bait movie. I can't remember if he was nominated. He does sell it. He does sell the movie. It's not as compelling as some other biopics I've seen, but it is worth seeing, especially if you've got vague interest in American baseball. If you're not interested in that period of history or that sport, it's going to be a little bit less gripping for you. Darth Plato said, for $2, Flintstones is more accurate.
More inaccurate, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, see, and there you go. I'm not familiar with the history, so I can't vouch. But Darth is adamant it's the most inaccurate movie ever made. I'm going to move on quickly to a topic of news before we cover a couple of other things. So this is interesting. There's an HBO original It TV show. Welcome to Derry. So Pennywise has now got his own show.
Looks bad.
Coming in October. Well, we're nearly in October now. It's 21 days to go, by the way, until the opening night of Seven Magnificent Egos, the Making the Magnificent Seven. I've actually been rehearsing all day today. So, yeah, we're only 21 days away. That is on the 15th of October. We open. So this show might be with you even sooner than that. I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know it was being made until today. Has anyone else heard anything about this?
Yeah,
I've
trailer,
heard
it
about
looks
It's
bad.
it's a prequel show, I think.
Prequel
Yes.
show. Okay,
It's a prequel show.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just
Which-
interesting because like the new It that came out recently that I hated. It's like it's It, but it takes place in the 80s this time. You know, when they're kids. But now they're doing this, which is It, but in the 50s when it was originally taking place.
60s.
60s. But I just remember last year HBO did the Salem's Lot, and that was
Yeah. Oh, God.
garbage. So I'm
Yeah, that
sure
wasn't
this is going to
that-
be.
Looks like the Salem's Lot set as well. Has to be
It
said.
does. It does. But
Be
to be
correct.
fair, most of the settings in Stephen King stories are pretty much the same. So
Mm.
Yeah.
Toxic. This could be like this. If you were going to get a child actor to play you in your youth, I feel this actor on the right here. Got that, toxic.
he's not nearly fat enough to have been me, Lance.
Oh,
I was
okay.
a porky little bastard.
Okay, maybe we could go for the guy on the left. Oh no, he's tall and slim, so forget that. All right, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Oh,
jury's
this movie,
out.
it's Joe Biden. This movie also has this this movie also has this very remember the Watchmen HBO series? Like it's just like a lot of like
Has that vibe.
Yeah.
racism and crap at the forefront. That's what we're gonna be seeing here. I can already, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be discussing.
Also, what was the other one they did? That was the exact same. The H.P. Lovecraft show. Lovecraft Country. God damn it! Why do they keep doing this?
because Enzo,
And Salem's
racism
Lot also. Jesus Christ.
because racism is in very, very high demand in America, but it's in very short supply. So we will
What the
We'll-
fuck
we'll
kind of fat
conjure it.
suit was that? Go back.
we'll conjure it wherever we can.
Oh my god, is that really his body?
I don't know.
It looks like a kid when they put on a trench coat and they stand on each other's shoulders.
Let's wait on you. Literally in the case of.
No, but for real though, that one cop did look like Joe Biden, right? I wasn't imagining that.
Yes, he looked like Joe Biden. That's
He
true.
had those black eyes. He had like he had
Yeah.
taken his
I
dementia
could
medicine.
tell
right
those
before.
eyes.
Do you think there's
Yeah.
gonna be
I'm not sure.
He
You show-
only-
you show
he
him
only
sniffing
comes
his birthday,
alive.
maybe I'm not best
He only
friend.
comes alive when he bites you.
Yeah,
That's when he's alive.
all over
And he
white.
sniffs you.
What are the chances there's a story like this group of white kids become accepting of the black lone girl in the neighborhood who's bullied by other kids, so somehow she gets to become part of their gang. I'm guessing this is the scene of the gang assessment.
Yeah, isn't it
Yeah.
kind of a bit of a? We couldn't see
There you
that
go,
coming.
you see it now.
I know. Does seem
Now
a bit-
does Skarsgård come back as Pennywise,
No.
or is it someone
Yes.
else?
No,
he's
it's Skarsgård.
in demand these days, isn't he? He's
Yeah, it's Skarsgård. He's
He's
one of the
back.
few actors that can do that thing with his eyes. So
Well, we'll see. Don't worry, I'll assign my panel to review this. They'll really be looking forward to it after Alien.
that's going to be a big fat negative for me, Ghost Rider.
You hate us. You hate
Roger,
us, don't
I
you?
don't know
Really?
this. Okay, spooky season. Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up. So lots of stuff to potentially look forward to, or not, as the case may be.
Or not.
Talking of spooky, unusual films, this was another oldie. Spenzo said he'd seen recently. I'm going to talk about this quickly myself. I actually saw this at the cinema when it came out.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice story revolving around a cinema that's just about to show this film called Man. It's kind of like about a giant man-eating ant, and revolves around the various characters, and it sort of parodies the film that it's showing. And John Goodman is the cinema manager.
He's the director of the movie, and
Yeah, that's
he's
right.
He's partnered with the cinema in Florida, but it's like,
it.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those movies that was recommended to me recently, and then Red Letter Media talked
It's
about
great.
it also.
I've seen this in a while, but I remember
I
really
loved it.
I loved it.
I'm hearing an echo. Also, John Goodman is great. It's a Joe Dante movie. I don't know. It's fun because like the Red Letter Media people were talking about, like, it's this cheesy 50s monster movies coming out, or 60s monster movie, and they're doing like the 4DX thing with smoke machines and electrified buzzer seats and little explosions going off in the theater and pyrotechnics and all that fun stuff. But this is in the middle of the Cuban Missile Crisis, so like everyone's like, the threat of nuclear war is about to break out, but like, oh, you can't go see this horror movie because it's too scary. It's just funny. And it's just a cute coming of age movie with like little kids and your first crush and all that stuff's in it, but also just like the love of movies and movie theaters is really hammered in this one.
And this is directed by Joe Dante of
Joe
Gremlins,
Dante. Yeah, I did not.
and The Explorers.
Good film. Good film.
It's good.
Yeah, this is one of his kind of forgotten treasures.
This is one of his best movies for sure.
It is. It is
Like,
one of his best movies. Yeah. Without a doubt, I really like this film. I'd rate this like a 9 out of 10.
A charming movie. I give it like a solid 8.
Yeah. So I mean, I am going with my memory. I haven't watched it. Probably watched it last about 15 years ago.
Yeah, there's also because they do the fake Mant movie and it's all filmed black and white like an old pulp monster movie. But there's other parts, like there's a scene where they're doing like a 60s movie. And like Naomi Watts is in it, and that also looks very much like spot on. It's even in like the ultra widescreen, and it just looks like it was made in the 60s. It's just fun. But yeah, like this the bomb shelters, and Dick Miller's obviously in it. He's great.
Joe Dante regular Dick Miller.
Oh, and John, I think it's John Sayles is also John Sayles, the guy who wrote The Howling and directed Men with Guns and all that stuff. He's here he is. It's funny because Dick Miller and John Sayles were like these protesters. They're protesting the movie. Oh, you can't see this. It's too offensive. Our kids can't handle it. And Joe and John Goodman's like, hey, well, I think these people, these fine Americans, should make up their own mind. Here's a free pass to the movie. Go see it. See if you think it's right. And it turns out that Dick Miller works for John Goodman. He's like an actor for these stupid movies. And, it's just very funny stuff.
Yeah. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. And definitely worth seeing. Mystery has said, what's this? Why try something original? Butchering old IPs is not working. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I'm guessing that's not Matinee.
He's talking about Derry, Return to Derry.
Derry.
Oh, I see. Return to Derry. Yeah. Well, yeah, indeed. Thank you for the super chat, Mystery. Really do appreciate that. Okay, well, we're going to move on. We're not going to go too late today because, again, this wasn't really scheduled for today. Inside Man, did you have anything you wanted to recommend this week?
Yeah, I watched a couple of things. I mean, one of the first things that I have to go back to the old spaghetti westerns. So I got a couple of films from 1968, so not 70s this time. The Big Silence, or The Great Silence, or Il Grande Silencio. One of Sergio Corbucci's spaghetti westerns. Probably, I mean, this is the one that he did just after, I think.
Klaus Kinski, isn't
Klaus Kinski, yeah, it is, yeah. Jean-Louis Trintignant. It's about a mute guy. He's like an ace gunslinger, and at the very beginning, he's kind of sort of the guardian, if you like, of these outlaws that are sort of held out somewhere in the snow. Somewhere. This is set in Utah, by the way. So they've got this little encampment, and it's kind of looking after their interests, because these outlaws, although you don't actually know why, what they've actually done, there are suggestions that it could be some kind of religious prejudice. Maybe they're Mormons or something like that. You don't quite know. But nonetheless, they're sort of outcasts and they are outlaws. But they're outlaws from this small little town. And we've got this bounty hunter and his group, headed by Klaus Kinski, guy called Tigrero, and he is after the obviously the bounty for every single one of these people that are held out there. And of course, Silence, who is the main character, or Silencio, he tries to stop Tigrero from getting hold of these outlaws because they are going to be pardoned. They're due to be pardoned. So Tigrero wants to get these outlaws before these laws come in whereby they're going to be pardoned. But it's kind of a conflict between the law itself, what the law actually permits, and Silencio, who is acting outside of the law, even though he's he really is an unambiguous hero. So he's very, a very, very moral character. So he is definitely the hero. However, Tigrero, he's an absolute piece of shit. He's an absolute scumbag, and you loathe him. But everything that he does is within the law. So he's not acting outside of the law at all. But it's an extraordinarily dark movie, and it went somewhere towards the end. It went somewhere where I just didn't expect it to go. I had seen it before, but I just couldn't remember how it ended. But
Yeah,
it's
I have seen this. I have seen this movie, and I do remember it quite well. And it is pretty grim in places.
It is. It's a very nihilistic spaghetti western. But this, funny enough, because obviously Corbucci. I mean, there were three Sergios. There was Sergio Sollima, Sergio Corbucci, and Sergio Leone, who were the key kind of spaghetti western directors. And Corbucci was a contemporary of Leone. They were very, very good friends. They did a lot of the Peplum movies together, when they were, just sort of coming through the film industry. And Corbucci actually wanted to do Django in snow, but he couldn't afford it. He couldn't get the budget for it. But he knew that he wanted to do one sooner or later. So when this one came around, he said, right, that's it. This is the one that I'm going to be doing in the snow. And it's an absolute work of art. It's just a beautiful movie. I know everybody harps on about Django and how good that is. But this, I think, is truly a masterpiece. For me, personally, I mean, this is second only to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as a spaghetti western.
Is
It's
this some
just-
sort of like Mexican Texas Ranger? It's their version of a Canadian Mountie on the right.
No. This is all set in Utah. So, but one of the things that I think we have to remember with spaghetti westerns is it's a kind of a fantasy west. It's not. It's
Sure.
it's not. It's an idealized version of the West. It's not idyllic, but it's an idealized version of the West. It's
hyper history.
telling, exactly that. But it really is a masterpiece. I mean, he never really got to sort of replicate the success of this. But one of the things about this one in particular was that 20th Century Fox actually had hold of this as its distributor for Europe and the United States, but they withheld it. They actually blocked its release in the UK and the United States. And the reason for that was that Clint Eastwood was interested in doing an American version, a remake of this. And so therefore Fox had blocked it. Apparently, Richard Zanuck said that, he hated the movie. He thought it was a piece of shit. He really, really despised this movie, and he didn't like Sergio Corbucci. So he decided to block the movie and work on a movie with Clint Eastwood, and they kind of semi-ripped it off in a movie called Joe Kidd, which was crap. It was terrible movie, set in the snow, and again, like this. Like the Silencio character, he sports, a German 1898 Mauser pistol, so he's got an automatic pistol. So this is set. It's not an anachronism or anything like that. So it's set in 1898. So he's got the Mauser bolo, and he uses that whilst obviously his enemies are all using revolvers. But it's yeah, it's a really, really grim, dark, nihilistic, quite disturbing at times movie, and the end is a pretty shocking ending, and it subverts more than anything this comfort blanket of happy endings that we seem to familiarize ourselves with so often, which I like. I like something that's really going to kick me in the balls at the end of a movie.
Would this
I,
be like before audience testing and things like that? Because I feel like they ruin things so often.
Sorry,
yeah.
mate. Say again.
I said, would this have been before audience testing? Because sometimes I feel like audience testing it's almost like making a film by committee, because they don't like a
Yeah.
scene. They're like, oh, that's got to come out. We've got to fix that kind of thing.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, because this actually was very successful, obviously across Italy, but particularly across France. But there were some audiences, some of the French audiences didn't really kind of take to the grim ending, so he actually filmed 3 additional endings. So there were 4 endings to this movie to suit specific audiences, to suit the German audiences. Obviously, the original Italian ending is the one that is the one that everyone sees now in the version. And there's a beautiful, really, really, truly beautiful transfer that's been done by Eureka. It's another one of these boutique little DVD Blu-ray labels. And it's in their Masters of Cinema series with some fantastic extras. But it's a really, really beautiful transfer. And it's the most complete version, I think, that's actually out there at the moment. A stunning film. I can't speak highly of this enough. It's an amazing piece of work. Way, way better than Django, if anyone wants to see a really good spaghetti western. But yeah, it's great film. Great film.
Rating out of 10, please.
10.
For time.
Absolute 10. 10. No question.
Brilliant.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. I think I might be wrong, but I think the whole film might be on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I think the Italian version is.
Yeah, it certainly was at some stage.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it might still be. And I do think it does have English subs. So, and the Italian version is much better to watch than the English dub version, because some of the dialogue doesn't quite sort of match up with some parts of the story. But one of the interesting things about just quickly, and I'll keep this very, very brief. One of the interesting things about these Italian spaghetti westerns and the Poliziotteschi's and many of the other Italian movies is that for the most part, they never actually used to speak their actual dialogue. They just used to, because they had like an international cast. So you had Klaus Kinski, you had Jean-Louis Trintignant, you had other American actors. So instead of saying their dialogue, they would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they'd just match their dialogue, they'd dub their dialogue to their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
That's how they would do it. So it was a very simplistic way of doing it, because they knew they were going to be matching their dialogue with multiple international languages.
I knew I'd seen Vanessa McKee in something else.
Yes, Repo Man, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I'd seen her in not just Repo Man, but also I remember her in the Eiger Sanction.
Yes,
she was also in Shaft in Africa.
Yes, she was in Shaft in Africa.
Yeah,
well done. Yeah,
Queen woman, doesn't she?
That's right. Yeah, well
so-
done. Yeah, that's that's right. Yeah, Shaft in Africa. She's actually in a couple of blaxploitation movies. Detroit 9000, Hammer with Fred Williamson, Blackula. She was also in. That's Shaft in Africa. Well done.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Well, yeah, great. That's another Inside Man classic. So do check it out. It'll be worth your time. Talking of time is running short. Did anyone who hasn't sort of shouted out something this week, have they got something they desperately wanted to give a quick mention to? And I do mean quick, before we begin to wrap up. Anyone?
Bikini Babes from Beyond 1 and 2.
Yeah, like you said, we have questions.
Northern, sorry, Northern, go ahead.
Yeah, there is one. I'll give it a quick mention. This is Spinal Tap 2. It's okay, but it really does lack the originality of the first Spinal Tap. You know, so
actually, I'm quite happy to talk about that before we go, because I'm a massive Spinal Tap guy.
Same here.
Funny?
The first one's a classic.
I feel that film would have worked. It feels like they got the guys together and did a few improvised scenes, and then they just sort of made a load of phone calls to see who was famous that was up for doing this. You know, Elton John, Paul McCartney, etc. The whole movie would have been better off if it was a surprise that Elton John appears in the film. It's not a surprise because he's in the trailer and he also appears in the film fairly early. So, you know, him then coming out and kind of doing Stonehenge on the piano, is that whole moment is completely ruined because we've already seen it in the trailer. So it's not a surprise. So it's just like, oh, it's Elton John. It just feels like he's just been shoehorned in for fun. I love these guys. I love Christopher Guest. I love Michael McKean. And the third one, whose name I always forget, who does loads
Harry
of voices
Shearer.
on The Simpsons, Harry Shearer. They're great. These are three exceptionally talented men. But this movie it wasn't there. It was great that they got like several people who had really small roles in the first one, like Fran Drescher, who played Bobby Fleckman, and it's kind of like, okay, what's Bobby Fleckman doing right now? That could be really funny. And all you got of her was sort of 15 seconds, and I think they could have cut back to her. This just felt like a very lazy sequel. I
do have chemistry still.
I don't know. You know, it just felt very lazy. There was a few titters here and there, but I wanted. It's not that you're going to get the magic of the original. I just felt like the plot of them coming together to do a reunion concert and the struggles of that weren't really properly realized. There was an actual Spinal Tap concert at the Albert Hall. I think it was in '94. And there's a full video of that out there. You can find it. You know, there's a really funny sequence where they all arrive on strings and are detached onto the stage, and Nigel Tufnell gets his strings failed to detach, so he's constantly like floating around, and Derek Smalls is sort of near the mic but can't quite detach, so he has to sing while he's floating in the air. You know, that whole sequence is funnier.
That's brilliant.
That's more the thing that this second one really lacks as well, because in the first one you saw them on these big grand stages and all these different locations. This film is restricted to one rehearsal room for the majority of the movie.
It just feels like the whole thing was shot in like 3 or 4 rooms. There's no.
They're not going to go traveling a bunch.
I wanted to have any of the clever subtext from the first one, like Nigel and David having an affair and stuff like that. And
I think, if it addresses the fact that, like, because, like, I mean, you have Spinal Tap, they're coming back together, or they've been together this whole time and they're doing another tour. I think the idea that you can, because the first Spinal Tap makes fun of what it's like to be a touring professional musician. It's so funny, but also you're being, you know, Spinal Tap, they're like trying to be the hot and young thing. Whereas now it's like they've got to be taking jabs at all these other these old bands that are still touring in their geriatric years, and what that must be like.
The fun of that wasn't really realized. They could have got a lot more out of that.
When I hear about this, I think it's going to be the bulk of that. It's just going to be a bunch of like old people jokes, like we're old and we're on tour and it's cringe. You know, we're still doing the 20-something, 30-something-year-old rock god thing, but we're in our 70s.
Yeah, and that was kind of done in the first one anyway, wasn't it? They were like a band that was really not that successful, and there was already getting forgotten about.
That was the whole idea behind it, wasn't it? You know, they weren't actually any good.
Yeah, I
was
think
like
it was kind of probably done better. I think Enzo had mentioned a couple of films. I think were they Swedish or Norwegian films? I think Enzo that you were talking about some wasn't they an Icelandic band?
Was it
Wasn't it a
Anvil?
couple, what's it?
There's a
There was a couple of
documentary on
movies.
Anvil, which is actually a real documentary that is actually funnier than this movie.
No, I think it was a couple of movies that that Enzo had mentioned a few months back about a
About
semi
bands?
kind of it was about a band. Do you remember
Uh,
about an Icelandic band or something?
It was like a death metal band. I
Yeah,
think I know what
yeah,
you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
trying. They break out of like prison or something to make a
That's the one.
show.
That's it. Yeah, yeah,
I cannot remember what it was called, but yeah, that one was fun.
yeah.
Hang on, let me look it up.
But I just kind of think that this was a sequel that nobody really wanted. It was,
No one
you
really
know, I
needed
know.
Well,
it.
I would have liked it if it was good.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
it's
feel like it
also
just took too
came
long.
very late.
What
No.
a glowing critique. That's so wise. I would have liked your movie if it was good.
Holy shit, dude! So the movie
I
we're
just
talking
thought
about is called
This film
Heavy
was
Trip.
lame.
That's
I'm
it.
sorry.
Check this out. It's called Heavy Trip, but there is a sequel called Heavier Trip that just came out last year.
Oh yeah, Heavy Trip's fun, man. It's a fun film.
So Heavier Trip is also. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Right,
Heavy Trip was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this movie.
Yeah, I talked about it a while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I will still give credit. The characters, the actors do have some good chemistry still. It's just it just feels like they waited so long. If maybe it came out 20 years ago, that probably could have worked. And but, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't. We don't need this sequel. You got the first one. You got
Shame.
it gets its point across pretty well. The sequel just kind of repeats that point that doesn't need to be repeated.
Well,
There
is like a concert sequel, right? Like there's an actual like concert for Spinal Tap
Yeah,
that came
they
out
probably
not
have
long ago.
fun, yeah.
See, that actually is a great way to do the sequel because you can't expect it to be better than the first one, but it has some songs, it's got some laughs. But like, yeah, when you're trying to do Spinal Tap again, it has to somehow be funnier. And the way to be funnier is you just really got to ham up the old people thing. That's just the logical step.
Or have like maybe a new band that's going to take their place and how the two interact together.
That would have been good because in the 1994 concert, they actually filmed a sequence where the folksmen, who are from another one of the one of their movies, where they take the piss out of folk music. That one, The Mighty Wind. The folksmen are one of the bands in The Mighty Wind, and you couldn't have a more inappropriate band to be the opener for Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Two completely different genres of music. So they filmed a sequence where it cuts to the folksmen in the dressing room, sort of waiting to go on for this Spinal Tap revival, and then they get told that basically they're not required because they think the audience will kill them. So they're going, okay. And so they just wander out their dressing room and are kind of glad they've got the night off, but they're going to get paid. That sequence was really funny. You could have done something funny like that in this film. And I just feel like they didn't sit round a table and go, what are really great ideas? And somebody just said, well, let's get as many famous people in it as we can and famous musicians and who wants to do a cameo in it. And maybe we'll raise the money that way for the film.
I just skip this and watch Flight of the Conchords again.
Flight of the Conchords is funny.
I need to rewatch that again. That was funny. But you kind of honed in on a point as well with all the famous people because it works because they were the underdogs. They were like the least successful band they were forgotten about. But they've already kind of regained made a lot of success off the first movie, and they've had a string of like recognition with concerts as well. And it's like, where do you go from there with this band then? They're not the underdogs anymore.
No. Ratings out of 10 for Spinal Tap 2 before we wrap up.
5 out of 10. It's not the worst, but it really does lack that same magic as the first one.
We had 17 viewers before we started talking about this topic. Now we've got 1.
What the hell?
What's that tell you?
17 to 1. How did that happen?
Some of those viewers are using ad blockers. I don't think YouTube
I think
recognizes
there's 4 now, but like it was at 17, and I went, oh yeah, we're talking about Spinal Tap 2. Okay, well
sometimes the viewers goes to 11.
We're gonna guys, we're going to wrap up now. Just want to thank my panelists for coming on. Northern English Bastard, Lord of Toxicity, Critical, Penbo, The Inside Man, and of course, rachelpearcyart. And you can check out their socials, their links. Congrats again on Northern for hitting that 1,000 subscribers. Blue Collar Loser, prompt as always. Did you get a chance to see the senior? Yes, I did. Good. Was it though? That's a conversation for next time because unfortunately we have to go over to Outcast Australia now for an important message.
Tristan.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm learning my lines for the play.
You're learning the lines. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I will be playing Robert Vaughan in Seven Magnetic Egos.
Anthony Quinn was originally set up to be in the Magnificent Seven film, and then he kind of dropped out.
Yes.
And he went on to make such seminal classics as Zorba the Greek and the little-known follow-up to that, Jim the Chav. This is my take on the Robert Vaughan character.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Robert Vaughan.
We did actually say, let's meet at the park, down under the pub. We didn't mean down under. What are you doing in Sydney, Australia?
Oh, God, what did you mean?
Go on.
You mean to say I've travelled all the way across the world for a rehearsal and I've come to the...
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
If you run now,
Yeah.
you can get the flight. Off you go.
Okay, okay.
Right,
yeah.
go. Bugger off. We're waiting for you.
And the Outcast crew.